Okay, so I've got to this point, and at this point, line is at an angle at least one end of the screen. Here, I elect to mark the first pixel as being true because I've determined that one end is off the screen. Here, I feel like I can... No, I can't now. No, I can't do the same thing because I don't know whether or not I'm dealing with the first pixel anymore. Now, what I was about to do was insert a bit of logic in here to say, well, what is num_i? And, or it would be before I change it, I guess. That doesn't matter. What is num_i, and given what num_i is, what do I do with first and or last pixel? But I think that I won't put the logic in there because of what follows immediately here. Well, is it? Yeah, because, for one thing, I can say here, well, I've got a choice. Like, what I'm thinking is, from this point on, I don't know whether or not I'm dealing with the beginning or end of the line, technically. I can check with num_i, but the less I have to check, the better. I say that looking at all this code, I'm thinking, I am so ignorant of the way to do this efficiently. So I'm thinking that because I'm doing these checks here, these present opportunities for me to set the first and last pixel flags without having to perform many checks inside these little detail, you know. And I'm thinking that maybe here's the place to do it, because here I decide that there is at least one intersection, and here I decide that there's less than two. So if I've decided that there's at least one intersection, then I think I can say first pixel equals 2. In fact, I don't have to say it up here, do I really? Do I? I'm going to take it out because I don't think I do. Because this happening will satisfy this, which will make me know that the first pixel must be drawn because this is off the screen. And here is where I ultimately check to see which end is on the screen. But in there, effectively what that's saying is, so if there are intersections, and actually there are two intersections, each intersection increasing num_i by 2, then I have to draw the first and last pixel. And all I have to say is last pixel equals true. But in here, I decide the end of this segment is on screen. So last pixel has to be false. The end of this segment is off screen. The start of this segment must be on, alternative. Who knows? So therefore, the last pixel, even though this is the last pixel of the line, it's actually the first pixel of the segment, so it must be drawn. Yeah? Yeah. Now, if I'm right, what I am presented with here is, I believe, I'm just going to reorganize this a little bit because really this kind of belongs here. This is an anachronism. these, seeing as all the flags are being set, can, I think, come here. I'm not wise. I'm not slick with a keyboard or a mouse. Decide how much, if any, of this line is visible. Plang. Figure out the extents of the line. Figure out if it overlaps the output box at all. Figure out if it completely is enclosed within it. If so, yeah. Draw the first pixel, not the last. Do draw it. Output line start x is the previous x. Output line start y is the previous y. Output line end x is the current x, so called. Ny is the current y, right? Some or part of this line is off. Some part of this line is off the screen. So find out these things. Oh, I'm just gonna have to, I've been through this. Damn Mike, I do apologize to myself when I listen to this back for being so inattentive. I'm just saying I'm going through this and looking at it, and I'm gonna just have to build in the line bit. Is there anything I can do to make this easier to read? It's like this is an important bit. But num_i is less than 4. Do I need to? No, because I'm doing that check here. I only do this check, like in a way I could get away without doing this check. It's just I do avoid checking the top. I could get away without doing that check. But there's no need to check the top and bottom if I've already established that the line comes on one side and off the other. That might happen with this. In which case, num_i would now be 4, which is greater than 0. It's drawing the first end, because that's against the side of the screen. It is drawing it. I just, for some reason, want to put that the other side of this. Yeah, drawing the first pixel. If it still hasn't found both ends of the line, then it finds which end is on the screen. And actually if it has, then it knows it has to draw both ends. And all the way down here, I think I got that to, it's just under 150 lines of code. Okay, so now what was that? 3 videos, like an hour and a half, 2 hours? It's not that bad really, is it? Maybe it was 3 or 4 hours. Draw flag is true. Only 10 minutes in. So now I should have these, and I should know whether or not I'm drawing the first and last pixels of the line. So now I need my, whatever it is called, Brežnum line, and I don't want to look it up, I want to try and remember it. Part of my problem is, what is it? That I doubt my capacity to understand something I look up anyway. So I think I may as well try and figure it out, even though I realise this is not wise. So, if draw flag's true, I think, now do I know x dy g? Not necessarily. Should I just figure it out nice and early? When do I figure out? Now I've figured it out here. wonder if I should just pop that up here. Like many, many times this will be figured out, and it needs to be figured out later anyway. It's not going to be the same though. Nah, it's not. So forget it. Forget it. I'm not thinking sensibly. But before I do this, I am going to unlocal these. I'm just going to, these are not going to be locals. And they're all just being declared except for grad, which is being set. Numi is also kind of being set, but it is being set. And they must be... Wag. I hate... Well, no, I don't hate it. I'm okay with it. Inserted here. I'm okay with it just depending on how it works and how fast it is. And this doesn't need to equal anything, really. And I can probably just move this up. Doesn't need an assignment, but I don't mind. Okay. All the things needed in figuring, all the things needed in drawing, along with that, I suppose. Okay. Now, do I still do all of this correctly? Yeah. Now, what was I thinking? I was thinking that. No, I wasn't thinking that. I was wishing that. But not wishing it. What am I talking about? Tiny little saving. Now, I do that because I'm about to start making locals again, and the only reason I'm even making these locals will never even be run. It's just so that I don't get a load of red lines. But actually it is useful to think about the space I'm needing. So I actually don't need to make more locals. I can just say dx, just reuse it. OL and x, is this the right way around? Every time I have to think about it, and I think it is, yeah, OL SX. So dx is this the x component vector that leads from the start to the end, so I remember. Difference of y is output line end y minus the output line start y. And then I think I basically say if dx is greater than dy, do one thing, and if not, do something else. And if it... can I reuse gradient as well? Probably. So if dx is greater than dy, then what I'm going to step through is the x positions. And dx and dy are floats, so I might need some ints, which will, I'm going to need to think about like screen or output x. I'm going to regret calling something that, haven't I? But output x and output y are unsigned ints that describe the actual, or store, the actual position of the little cursor as I imagine it in my databank, or where it will be in my databank. Because maybe I should make something that will indicate where it is, but maybe I won't need to. Maybe we'll see where I stick things. Let's see. So in this case, I'm going to be stepping through the line in the x component. And I need to know, and I'll use the variable gradient, even though this isn't technically, I think, a gradient. But what gradient has to be is, in this case, the difference y divided by difference x. Is that right? Yeah, this is the amount I need to change the y position by each x step. Yeah. Now I do wonder if I need some other things as well, like yet more things. Or do I... Can I just use dx and dy now? Have they served their purpose? Could I now say dx equals ol sx and dy? I can always just come back and change these names, I suppose. Sy. And what this is, what dx and dy now are... Don't fool with me, child. These are now my cursor. I'm not going to like doing this. Right. So, here is where I have to think about drawing the first pixel. And then I have to... Oh, sorry, just a little concentration required. Then I have to do my loop. And I think that the loop is going to be OX in this case. In fact, just before I draw my first pixel, I'll think about that. For OX equals... Because really what it is like the integer of dx to until the integer, I don't like doing this, and I'm going to change it, of ol and x. Now, I'm surprised you don't mind that, Mr. Error Checker, because... okay, fine, this bit I get. Well, because that's hideous, but that is what it is. It is what it is, assuming that taking the integer of these values is okay. I'm going to assume that rounding down, as long as I do it consistently, is okay, and I might just turn out to be really wrong about that, but I'll see if I get hideous lines. Oy equals the integer of gy. I probably don't need to bother setting dx in this case, but anyhow. Now I have to think carefully about this. I think that that's what I want to do first. Then maybe I want to plot a value. I don't think I'm going to be... I don't like the way this looks. It makes me uneasy. But that uneasiness is my only... it's just unease. in here I might want to plot a value, I think, but then I want to advance, like OY plus equals grad. Maybe that's it, actually. No, not OY. dy plus equals grad. Aye. And then every time dy flips over an integer, we get a new OY. Then, what did I call it? It's around here somewhere. Data B. Poke unsigned byte. First I need to say, well, yeah, I don't need to say it first. This is probably going to be a pretty hideous line if I don't, but shall I just spell it out? It's going to be something, not one, but something, and then it's going to be data B, peak, unsigned, int, not an unsigned byte, unsigned int, peak, unsigned byte, then the same offset, which will not be 1. Right, if that's the way it's going to be, I have to figure out the offset outside. And I'm going to declare it local. Offset, just out of curiosity, what is this offset in? Just an int. Offset. Okay. So this is OX plus OY times OY, OX plus OY times O width times 4. OY is 0, yeah, they get OX. OY is 1, get, yeah, okay. Offset. Offset. Now thinking, this is what gives me a single integer. I'm using all integers. OX, OY, O width is not an integer. And it's not an integer because I wanted to use it in all those sums, but here I want it as an... I don't want to make it an integer there. In fact, out here, I want to say integer, local integer, y factor integer equals OX plus OY times the integer of O width times 4, and it's the y factor. No, I can't do that. Can I? No. Okay, the y factor is just this bit. I wish I could build in the times 4, but I don't think I can. I have to add. Okay. Don't need the... I accept that I don't need these brackets. So then I'm only doing that int for... OI times int O. I'm gonna... second. Hang on a second. So I'm gonna just be a bit of a numpty about this. So I not only have somewhere, don't tell me I put them way up here. Output height and output width. And where do I set them? What idiotic thing do I do? Do all this. Yeah, do it in render gradient, don't I? Yeah. So output width I equals output width equals the integer of output width. This is an integer, this is a float for the, you know, it's yeah, output width and output height are integers, I'm pretty certain. Don't tell me. Yeah, you're okay. Anyway. But this, I suppose, makes more sense just to say it equals that. Because it's going to be used a lot. No, I know it's not found. Object width, the object output width in integer equals 0. Of course I could just use project width, couldn't I? But no, I am going to keep that in here because, like I say, I have a feeling it will make it easier in the long run when I hope to pluck this out. Okay, so what on earth was I about to do with that? I've forgotten. This YF, yeah. It can be figured out here. I think. Can't it? Because it's OWI. And I can declare OX, OY, what is that? On-screen X and on-screen Y, or output X, output Y, and YF. OLDXDY, output X. This is becoming ridiculous. Can't really decide. I will make it an int. Output Y int and Y factor int. I'm not going to bother giving it something. Okay. And all the way back down here, which I'll never get to because of that. I shouldn't need to say this anymore. In fact, this bit goes, and that bit is not required. Offset. Okay. Yes. Should I call it something better? Data offset. And this little load of stuff is just getting more distressing, but what can you do? What did I just do? I somehow managed to get rid of Y factor. Uh-oh. What have I been doing? What on earth have I been doing? Hang on. Okay, this is a bit annoying. This is annoying because something weird just happened. Like those things exist. This thing now needs to exist again. I somehow got rid of it. Okay. Did I? Oh man, I really hope I wasn't deleting other random lines because I will be in trouble trying to replace them. But this is gone. I need to think why. Oh, I beg your pardon. I shifted it. Concentrate, man. Okay, how am I doing? 31 minutes. I'm getting close to thinking I'm going to leave it because I'm a bit anxious about this bit and I want to make sure that I have a rest and read it through. So I'm going to do that. Let me quickly look at it. This is the weird bit. But also what I need is something about the first and last pixels. I mean, my instinct again is just to spell it all out, that actually I'll make more variables, and what they will be is the integer start and integer end. Because why? Why do I want to figure that out beforehand? What is it that's... Right, yeah, it's because I need to adjust what that number is. Can I put... Yeah, I mean I can put variables in there. I need to adjust what that number is depending on whether or not I'm drawing the first and last pixel. That's what it is. And actually that's not too bad. But I will just reserve that space. But I will just do it next time because I need a coffee and to